Hope to get this thing started tonight. If I don't, I don't. But we're going to do our best. No shipping labels, so you can't see what we are. So don't even ask. Trying to get this table set up real quick. Should only take just a second while everybody gets on. Same table as before, just a piece of plywood. Then on the floor, I've had the carburetor soaking vinegar and Dawn dish soap with water. Fairly strong mixture of vinegar. Get this table where it won't walk around. There we go. There we go. There it is. I don't know what that gunky stuff is, but it's a little gunky. It might just be the Dawn dish soap because it's cold out here in the garage. Grab a pair of pliers and get that out of there. Set down an old towel so that way it doesn't get all the dirt from the table in the carburetor. One person, okay. Great to see you, whoever you might be. Nine people already, wow. Just getting the air compressor to dry the carburetor off. Getting the hose and stuff. I think it is. Yeah, clean hose. I think that's a good view there. Okay. That can's about empty. I'll have to grab the other can. It's about. Shouldn't need a whole lot for this because because it's been soaking in that water, but I also want to use enough to flush out the water. I'm going to run inside, grab something real quick. Should only take, well, I don't know if we have any Q-tips left or not. I was going to take one to clean out a couple holes, but I'll have to check. Hey, how you doing, son-in-law? Great to see you. I think that's it, yeah. Hi. How are you doing, Melt? Oh, that's great to hear. Thank you. Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you very much. How are you doing? Hopefully you're doing good too. Alright, I'm gonna run inside, grab something real quick, and I'll be right back. Should only take me about a minute or two. Just in luck. Had 2 Q-tips left. Well, this is the carburetor in this bowl of stuff. For this, I had it. That is vinegar and Dawn dish soap with some water to break up the old sludgy gas in there. I don't know why it turned like swamp water almost, but that's what it turned out like for some reason. It was sitting for a long time and had some gas in it and it got all glooby in the carburetor. And get it out of there with these pliers. There it is. Doesn't look too bad. guess I'll have to try and fish down in there and get out the last few little parts, which I did not want to do because how icky that water is. Got to turn the valve on for the hose. There we go. Now we got some here. Hey, we got Mr. L. Great to see you. So, Mr. L, this here is the carburetor for this older John Deere from our neighbor. Had it soaking in some vinegar water because it had an electrical problem and it died on him, and he just had a different mower and never used it, and there was some gas in it, and it sat and got all gloopy, and well, I'm sure you've seen old gas. It got kind of nasty. It came out really clean too. Everything you do is good. Thank you. This here is a whole lot cleaner than what it was before. The inside looked almost green from the old gas, because sometimes it turns green when it gets old. Trying to dry it out now. Yeah, I figured you had. The vinegar really helps clean some of this junk off the top of it too. Move that off down towards the floor and out of my eyes. There we go, that's fairly clean. Ooh. Thankfully, there is no more gas around, so I don't have to worry about getting it on my hands. It all got rinsed out of the carburetor. Okay, Mr. L. Sounds good. Let's see, I'll use this can first because it's almost empty. Try and blast out a little bit of this water and stuff in here. Yeah, you can see pretty good. Yeah. I'm trying not to get this stuff on my hands because I should have gloves on. Blowing down in that center part because there's a jet in there. Of course, it's a non-removable jet because why not make your carburetor serviceable? Or why make them serviceable? They just want you to have to buy a new one. That's all that's about. I have to peel off some of the cotton on this Q-tip, otherwise it won't fit down in there and clean out the little hole where the needle goes. Yeah, it's a good thing I cleaned out in that seat, because you can see just how gloopy it is in there and gunky. Thankfully, this carburetor wasn't too bad. It had some junk in it, but nothing that I can't save. I do have a new bowl gasket. I don't know if it's the exact one, but it said Kohler Command 13 and same numbers as this, but you know, you just never know. Yeah, that's pretty nasty down in there. Make sure it'll fit in there before I give it a little bit of cleaner. It's a bit hard to get in and out, but that's okay with me. Kind of wiggle it around and help break up some of that junk down in there. Okay. Oh yeah, forgot I gotta tear off some of that cotton. Yeah, those are kind of tough to tear sometimes. Soak that down. Get it down in there. Kind of wipe it all around. Clean it out. So the last two Q-tips, so hopefully that's enough to clean this out. I'll just twirl it around in there quite a bit, just to be sure I can get out every bit I can. Spray a little more cleaner in there. Yeah, got it pretty clean. Hold on, just checking comments. Give it one last real good clean. Should be good and clean down in the C area. I mean, that's just about all of the passages in this carburetor. These things are very simple. Like, there's just 2 or 3 spots to clean, and that's about it. A lot of you might not know this, but right here, where this little barb is, that's where the fuel line goes. There's a screen down inside of the carburetor where this is to help filter out just the last little bit of gunk in case there is any in the fuel line. So you want to always flush through there both ways in order to get that clean. I did not know that for a really long time, and I wish I would have, because that could have helped a lot of engines run better. Let's see, I'm trying to find a good little brush to get done what I need. I think I can make this brush work. There's some junk down in there. No, it's too big. Not even close. But think I have another solution to scratch around in there. Don't have to be spotless or anything, but these little doohickeys here are torch tip cleaners. You can find them for a few dollars on Amazon. That's where we got ours. And they work really good for cleaning carburetors. There's little brushes and other ones you can stick down into the jet. There's some old gas down in the front of the carburetor that I'm trying to loosen up with these. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that got it really clean. I'll give it one last quick flush with some cleaner here. Oh, there's a little jet in there I never seen before. This can is just about empty. Yeah. Now it's just got air in it and it won't spray. Ooh. Check the other side, be sure. I think that's pretty good and clean. I'm not gonna get the top of it spotless because it just gets dirty again pretty soon because you know you're kicking up dirt and dust with your mower. I gotta grab this stick magnet over here to get out the parts in this bowl of vinegar water over here. There's that. Hope it'll pick up the bowl because I don't want to reach down in there. Do I have the needle? No. I'm doing a little bit of magnet fishing over here. I don't think the magnet is strong enough to pick up the bowl in there. Do I have the needle yet? No. Maybe it's not magnetic. I don't know if I have the bowl out of there. No. I don't really want to reach in there just because this is some really icky water. I don't think I got the needle. No. I wonder if it's magnetic. I don't know why it won't pick the needle up. I know I put it in there. That's awful strange. Maybe, the magnet surely should be able to pick it up. It's as small as this little pin for the float. I know it's magnetic. Come on. Maybe I stirred it up in the water and I can't pick it up. I guess I'll have to dump this out somewhere. I don't know. I'll crack open the door a little bit and let it run out into the driveway because I don't have any need to dump it out in the garage. There we go. I'm going to dump it out like right at the very edge of the driveway, or the edge of the concrete, so it'll mostly pour out, but that way I don't lose the needle. Okay, it's in the bottom of the bowl. Let's see, do I have anything to push that out with? I wonder. I don't want that icky water sitting in here. I'm going to use a broom because then it'll have a bunch of icky water on it. I guess it's not that much water. So I'll get the door closed. It's kind of cold out. Yeah, cold enough. I don't want the door open. Not too bad. Throw these Q-tips away because I don't want them sitting around. Okay. See if the magnet will pick up that needle now. Guess the needle is aluminum. That's strange. I figured it'd be made out of something magnetic. Don't really want to touch it in there, but yeah, you can see all the junk down in there that it got out of the carburetor. It was definitely dirty. And I'll give everything a good wipe down and quick spray with some cleaner. Can you see? Yeah. I'll scoot you to the right just a hair. This here is the bull nut. Set it over there. Wipe off the needle. It came out pretty clean. It was pretty gunky too, the needle. I'll give it a quick rinse of cleaner. Wipe it off. You want to be sure that little tip at the end is clean. So that way it doesn't leak. And this little doohickey here, it's what holds the float on. It's good and clean. Here is the bowl. Which you can see there's a tiny amount of varnish. Oh, it wiped right out. That's good that it cleaned up real nice. So that vinegar water did work. I've soaked a different carburetor in vinegar water one time and it ran beautifully. Yeah. Nice and shiny now. Okay, here is the float. I'll wipe it off. I dropped it on the floor, so a bunch of junk got all over it. Oh well. Keep grabbing the empty can cleaner. I need this one. I'll give it a quick blow off with the air compressor. Yeah, it's pretty clean. Set it in the bowl so it don't get dirty again. Okay, I'll grab a new bolt gasket. I'll just use these scissors. They should work good enough. Cut open the box. I sent this huge box for a little O-ring. What they're so worried about wasting stuff. Gotta grab a knife, that won't work too good. But they're never there when you need them. Where the hell go? Everyone goes on live. Can't never find nothing. Come on. There's always 3 over here in this bucket. Where'd they all go? There's not one single knife around. That don't make any sense. There should be plenty of knives in here. I would have at least 2. And I guess they just walked away. Not in the bucket, the tool bucket where they usually are. I don't see them on the shelves over there. Oh well, I'll just use the scissors, I guess. Even though these are kind of crappy scissors, they'll do something, I think. Oh, those don't come apart. I thought they did. There we go. It's a huge box for that. I think that's kind of dumb. One of them little bubble wrap packages is all you need for that. So let's hope this is the right gasket or O-ring, whatever you want to call it. I got a 2-pack. One was about $8 and the 2 was about $9. So then you can have a spare if you ever have to clean it again and it goes bad or something. You know good and well this Chinese rubber won't hold up for extremely long time, so sure you'd have to change it again anyway. Let's hope it comes off of there easily. Looks like it's pretty dry rotted on there. So far it's peeling right off. Yeah. Yeah. It's the same size and everything. Yeah, it's perfect fit. Just gotta get it to kind of settle down in there. And here's the float and the needle. The needle slips in there. And then it goes down into that seat I was cleaning out for a long time. Gotta drop the needle in there. Now I don't know if I said this in my last live disassembling this or not, but if you are going to pressure test a carburetor, which I'm not going to, because I know how to clean a carburetor. It's usually a bad carburetor that I can't clean. But if you're going to pressure test a carburetor, don't do it with the needle dry. Always put some lubricant or penetrating oil on there, because a dry needle will not seal. It's not the same concept as oil will seal piston rings, but, well, I guess it is similar to that. But it's the other way around. A dry needle won't seal. Wet piston rings will seal. I would just blow on the fuel barb with the float in the upwards position, and if I feel air leaking out, then I know we got a needle problem. But don't do that unless that's cleaned off, because you don't want junk getting in your mouth. You probably shouldn't do it anyway, but I do. I think that was a 13 millimeter socket. Bring that whole little set over. So I need to put it back on there. 13, yes. It don't need to be crazy tight. It is just, it's just going into extremely soft aluminum, so just snug, like I always say. It just needs to be snug. You don't want it to leak, and you don't want it to strip out the carburetor, because then they don't have to get a new carburetor. I've tried tapping the part in the middle where the bull nut goes, because I've accidentally damaged the threads in there before, and now it's almost impossible. The soft aluminum just kind of peels apart, and you end up with worse threads than you did when you stripped them out. Okay, here's the carburetor. Oh yeah, I need a 10 millimeter wrench. I forgot about that. Now, readjust the camera ever so slightly where you can kind of get a better. That's just about perfect right there. Unfortunately, they make you have to take out the studs, which is not too hard. And I'll just wipe off this gasket because we don't want any leaks. This is a Kohler Command 13 horse engine, which the Command engines are pretty much the only Kohler you would want to go with. They have a series in the Kohler Courage bucket engine, which you see right here where this seam is. Well, that's where the two halves of the engine split. You can take off the sump cover and get into the internals and all that. Well, the bucket engine has this cover here, but it's on the top of the engine. And what happens is those bolts back out. They don't make them very good. The holes in the factory, and the bolts always back out, and then the flywheel shears them off. And if they come loose just enough to not hit the flywheel, that cover will rock back and forth, and it'll break the block in half. So you want to stay away from the Courage bucket engines. Basically all Courages. They're just junk. And then I'll get the choke rod in. Well, come on. Might need to do the choke first, and then the throttle lever. There we go. There's the throttle linkage in there, the choke. Okay. There's one stud. There's the other stud. I have the air cleaner over on the lift table. That goes on the very last. Well, I guess after these go in, that goes on. Get that stud snugged down. These don't need to be crazy tight. Once again, you're just going into soft aluminum. Grab a 10 mil socket. This is called double nutting. You jam the two nuts together. Yeah, to get the studs out. I should probably stop saying that. Just make sure your choke and throttle lever don't bind up, because now's the time to fix it if you put those in wrong. I need to clean off my camera lens with like some alcohol and whatnot, because it's not quite as good as it used to be. That stud snugged down. That's pretty tight. There we go. I kind of put that fuel port on the carburetor in a bad spot. It's almost touching the side of the engine, which I'll get the fuel line sorted out right now while we don't have the air cleaner and everything in the way. Right here is the whatever little bit was left. It was like that when we got this for some reason. I know I saved the other clamps, but I don't know where they went. So, need that. A couple different pliers. Oh, I know. I got the clamp right over here for the new fuel line. Hold on, I'm just looking at the comments here. I guess nobody likes me anymore. Okay, here's our bucket of fuel line, and we should have something long enough in there. That's not quite long enough. Otherwise, I'll have to cut a piece off of the other spool, because this is all just the little cut off, but we have a bigger spool of this black line. That should work. I'll open these up just a little bit. A little too much. Sorry, kind of keep fidgeting here. If any of you watched the live stream before the last one, which is on this, was the very last one, and then the one before that, I had a horrible time getting fuel line figured out on a push mower. If any of you are watching that was there then, you would remember that. But we all know that you all show up one time, and that's just about it. That's how YouTube people are. Now, you do have to take the tank out to change that piece of fuel line, and the tank is extremely hard to take out, and I'm just going to cut the end of it off and be happy with what's on there. Because I ain't taking that tank out. Not unless I absolutely have to. It's not in terrible shape, as long as we get good flow out of it. Okay, I think that's clear. But hey, I mean, if we have any problems with it, I will change it, but that's on there far enough. Okay. Now, I think it was this piece here. That should be long enough. Kind of get that little bend out of there that's been stuck. Okay, so that's a little too long. So we'll cut it off. I had this weird little elbow here. Throw that on the floor, which I'll pick it up later. I seriously cut that too short. Oh, come on, I cut that too short. Man, the things I do. I might be able to not have it quite as much on the shut off. And then I can get some over to here. Well, what if I route it in through there? What will that do? Okay. If I just route it like that, then it looks like I have enough. That's actually almost perfect there because there's no incline, which I need to throw on the clamp there. For the shut off side. Oh, no, I guess I can't run that through there because that'll be rubbing on the choke lever. I forgot about that. Okay. So, I guess we're going to have more fuel line problems again. Is that long enough? No, not even close. Not close. Okay. I'm just going to have to cut off a piece on our long spool of line. Let's see. It's way up here. Here we go. I got this stuff off Amazon. It seems like good line. I'll cut that end off there because it's kind of at an angle. I like it to be not at an angle. That's a bit better there. Put that on there. I want it to go to about right there. I'll trim it off just a hair longer so that way it's got some room to move around if it needs to. Get on there. Yeah, I think that'll work. I just want to be sure this shut-off valve is going to work. Well, let's see. So I don't want to. I want to put a tiny bit of gas in the tank and let just maybe about an ounce flow through the line because there's some varnish and junk in the tank. Mainly just varnish, not much of any dirt. But what I will do, just to be sure it's going to work, is put a small amount of brake cleaner in there. Which I should do that no matter what. Help break up some of that varnish. You don't need a lot, just enough to help loosen up some of that junk. There's some creepy sludge at the bottom of the tank. And then open that up. No flow. Do we have a blockage in the tank? In the tank part of the line? Or what's the deal here? Because there should be a small amount of brake clean or you can see like that. It's going through there. That's strange. Well, let me see what went on in the tank. Well, that stirred up some dirt. But still nothing through that fuel line. Which you should be letting fuel through. Well, let's take off the... Yeah, I bet that fuel line from the tank is collapsed in the inside of it. Let's check that. Yeah. Well, what a great day. I pulled the tank. Oh well. That's just how it can be sometimes. Fixing this stuff. I should have put a new piece of fuel line on there when I had the tank out before. Because I've had it out. And I was searching for an electrical problem. But it turns out all the electrical stuff is under the seat. So I didn't need to pull the tank. But now I need to pull the tank. Oh well. Let me see here. Grab Phillips. There's 1, 2, 4, 6 Phillips screws, 2 on each side, and 2 hidden up in there in the dash, which I can't really get the camera up in there. 2 here, 2 in the exact same spot on the other side, and those things. So I'll just set those there. I'll get this fuel line here back in the container just to help clean up some of this mess. There we go. I can't hardly work in a messy environment. And then 2 on the exact same spots on the other side. There's 2 nuts under there, which I think those are 10 mil, if I remember right. Yes. Great. Okay. That was all under the deck. I'm just gonna break them loose. And finish it with the impact. I don't want to break them loose with the impact because that damages the chrome sockets. I'll grab a 1/4-inch adapter for the impact. Man, I didn't really want to pull that tank. Too bad I have to, because just make this repair that much longer. Might not get this finished tonight, because I'm going to be out here terribly late either. Definitely don't want to do that too much. Thankfully, though, this is a real cheap 10 mil socket, not really good. This came from the neighbor, and for your record, it is not a piece of junk. That one out. Here's that one out. And then, forgot about those. Phillips up by the dash. I'll come around the other side because I think that'll be easier for all of us. I learned this not too long ago, but if any of you do anything with Phillips screws, you know how much they strip out on the heads all the time. Well, that was done on purpose because before Phillips was invented, they had like Star and all the others, but in the manufacturers when they're making cars, people were always over tightening the Star and Allen headed screws. I can't talk. And they were always over tightening them, and they were actually breaking like the block of the engine and whatnot. So they designed Phillips to strip out at a certain tightness so you don't over tighten it. I forgot to take that out. Wiggle. Take out those 2 in the top, yeah. This is kind of why I didn't want to take this out, but that old fuel line had other plans for me today. It's not a boat anchor. This is a Nice mower. Ouch. I would honestly like to have one. Well, there's a little cleaner coming out of there, but I've already got it this loose, so I'm just gonna change it. I gotta take that throttle cable off of there. Great. Okay. I'm kind of getting a lot of stuff out here. Let's see, where's the ratchet? Over here. Loosen that throttle cable, unfortunately. Thankfully, it's just one little bolt. Okay. Slide it out there. I'm honestly afraid to touch cables because just about every cable I touch breaks. I haven't broken a cable. Oh, no, I did break a cable not too long ago. We won't talk about that. Okay. Man, I don't know if I can clean it out. I might just sweep all that out. Hi. Great to see you back. Back to work on that old John Deere again. I just found out that the fuel line on the tank here is no good. Woo. That's some dirt now. Oh yeah, that fuel line is mush. No wonder it got goofed up. I guess you don't want that junk in the sweeper. It might just blow off of the air compressor, but I ain't getting in my eyes. I like my eyes. They're kind of an important part of your face. Oh well. I'll just sweep it. I mean, that's what sweepers are for, and I can just empty the dirt out of it anyway. I'm sure the sweeper needs cleaned out anyway. As much as I hate to, but this will save a mess everywhere. That's for sure. Might be a little bit noisy for a minute, but not terribly long. I'll back you guys up a little bit so it's not so loud for you. Put you about right there so you can still see. Hold your ears. I unfortunately have to sweep this off. That's about as good as we're getting there. You ain't ever gonna see it down in there. Guaranteed this will be the last time this tank has to come out of this mower in its lifetime anyway, so it'll probably just be dirty again the first time I use it, so I ain't gonna scrub it down. I wouldn't even do it on something of ours. Just ain't worth it. So, there's our problem. This thing smells ugly. Oh yeah, that fuel line wouldn't have lasted at all. I mean, it's just turned to mush. Fuel line does that after a little while. Okay, there is some dirt in the tank, but oh man. Well, we might revisit this another day. I think I'm going to take the tank outside, rinse it out, clean out down in the mower where the fuel tank sits. I'll probably be back in a couple days. It's kind of getting late tonight. It's what time? Wow, 9:42. I didn't think it was that late. So yeah, I just want to get cleaned up and get inside for tonight, and thankfully I don't have a whole lot to clean up, which that's good. Just mainly this stuff on the table and a few things on the mower. That's about it. All right, well, thank you all for watching. I'll get that grass swept out of the mower tonight, and that'll be about all I'll do. I'll flush out the tank as best as I can. I'll try to get some of that grime off of the outside too. Might as well while I'm there. And then grab a super clean carburetor. Thanks, Royal Rain. And then after that, it should run, unless we got another issue. But I mean, it's a nice mower, to be honest. Regardless of what IBS says, I think it's a nice mower. It's got a good, solid deck on it. I don't know what the black deck means on the John Deere, but it's a good, solid deck. I mean, I've never in my life seen a deck with a handle on it like that does. I haven't seen that even on commercial mowers. Not what? It might be a little better with a Briggs engine, but either way, the commands are decent, especially the older ones like this. This one was made in 95 or 98, so over about 25 years old. Well, actually close to 30 years. All right, well, I'm going to get off of here and get cleaned up before it gets any later, and pick back up on this in a couple of days. I might finish it tomorrow. I don't know. Depends on if there's anything else I want to get done. But thank you all for watching. I'm going to get cleaned up, get this out of here, and go inside. So thank you all for watching. Have a beautiful night around here and day anywhere else if you're on a different time. And that should be it. So thank you all for watching and have a wonderful night.